Hello and welcome to this Q&A with creators of some of the short films that you just saw. Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I'd love to have all of you introduce yourselves and tell us your film and what your role was in your film. We'll start with Cindy.
Hi, my name is Cindy Wathen-Kennedy, and I am the producer of Red Watch. It's a 4-minute spoken word short film.
Hi, my name is Taylor Rees, and I'm the director of Ashes to Ashes, which is a short film as well.
Hey, my name is Izzy Shill. I'm the writer, director, actor of Face to Face Time, which is a 5-minute short form sex comedy.
Hi, my name is Tahmina. I'm writer, director, actor of A Woman, which is a narrative short, called A Woman.
And my name is Aubry Mintz. I'm the writer, director, producer of Nothing to Say, a short animated film that's 10 minutes long and done in 3 different animation styles.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Aubry. Let's start with that. Tell us why you went with the 3 different animations and really what was the idea behind it all?
Well, it's 3 different perspectives in some ways. It's told from first the zookeeper's point of view, which is very kind of one-sided. And so we chose kind of flat graphic look, almost like a callback to old Warner Brothers Disney animation, because he imagines his world as this wonderful, perfect world, but he doesn't see how other people see. So it's very, very flat. And then when the turtle speaks, we go into the 3D animation world, which is the most real and has the most depth, because this was really his story. And we're given the whole view of his background and what happened to him and his family and how he ended up in the zoo. And then when we return to the zoo, we see it through the animal's eyes, which has been changed from the flat and graphic to more of this kind of experimental, starting to have a little more depth. They're starting to see the rips in the curtain, basically, of what the zookeeper has set up. So we use more of an experimental animation, illustration animation approach.
That's a lot of work, I'm sure. How long did you work on this film?
I hate to say, I wrote it actually in 1996.
Wow.
It was a student project at Sheridan College in Canada. And then I didn't finish. And then I went to work in the animation industry and pitched it at a studio there, and they greenlit it. And it went for about half a year, and then they laid off about 1,500 people.
Wow.
So then I went back to Canada, worked on government grants for about a year and a half with a small crew. 9/11 happened, and then it went on hiatus for about 12 years.
Wow.
And then I got a wonderful call from a production school studio in Canada called Seneca College. And they worked with me over 4 summers, the last 4 summers basically, to finish the film.
And then you finally are able to bring it into the world, and the world shuts down.
And the world shuts down. It's wild, but yeah, it happened.
It did. Well, we're grateful that you were able to finish it, especially knowing that that very long history. It's adorable. And so thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Cindy, you have a very distinct look to your film as well, correct? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, we actually didn't shoot it for the film festival circuit. My stepdaughter, Kyla Kennedy, wrote it and stars in it, and she had just graduated from Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts, so we wanted to create something for her real. My husband and her father is David Kennedy. He's the director, cinematographer, editor, motion graphics, and still photographer. So we literally shot the entire short film in one day, all those locations for $3,000, and everyone, cast and crew, got paid. Yeah. Wow. So we just wanted to just go out and do it. Just don't overthink it. Just get out there and create something. And then we finished it. And as a producer, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and enter it into the festival circuit and just see how it does and start to learn this industry, because we want to do more short films. And just right out of the gate, it won Best Experimental Film at the New York Shorts International Film Festival.
Oh, wow.
We've had now 22 official selections. So it's just been crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah, so what was so nice about it is that we had 0 expectations. And so every festival has been a pleasure and a surprise, and we just can't wait now to do the next projects.
Oh, that's exciting. That's like a triumph of indie filmmaking, I have to say, with that budget and that time frame. That's great. Did she set out to create something experimental, or did it develop that way?
No, she actually wrote the poem in high school, and then she performed it on a spoken mic night in Los Angeles, a very famous place called Cantor's. But my husband, David Kennedy, he's a UCLA Film School graduate. And right out of film school, his short film was a finalist at both Cannes and Deauville in 35 millimeter. He worked for DreamWorks and Disney, but life got in the way for all of us. So it took a long time for us to get back to stop doing commercial work and start doing filmmaking. So it came together as this incredible family project. And now we're going to do an original script that David's written, and it'll be meant for purposely the festival circuit.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, we can't wait to see that. You have to bring that back to Pittsburgh Shorts or Three Rivers if it ends up being a feature. So promise you'll be back.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Terrific. Taylor, I'm going to go to you now. Your doc was very powerful. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how it came about?
Sure. Yeah. It didn't come together like a normal doc would, where I, sought out a story. Shirley, who is one of the main characters, was a neighbor of mine growing up. And she had been planning this funeral for the over 4,000 African-American men, women, and children who were lynched during the Jim Crow era and who didn't receive a funeral, and was looking for someone local to help her document that. And so there was a neighborhood dinner party, and one thing led to the next. And while the subject matter was definitely not, it's not coming from my own cultural background, I knew that taking it on and bringing in a diverse crew of collaborators and filmers and advisors would allow the process of making the film to be kind of a lesson in that kind of allyship and collaborative filmmaking. So that's kind of how it got started. And then through Shirley, we met Winfred Rembrandt, who is a survivor of an attempted lynching in the 60s. He has since used his entire life to tell his story and the story of growing up Black in the South through leather. And he's this incredible leather worker and just a wonderful person. As you guys saw in the film, he's a Star Wars fanatic, and like every room in his entire house from floor to ceiling is covered in Star Wars paraphernalia, and we always play a lot of dress up and have fun too. So it's a dark story, but with some really big-hearted people at the center of it. And looks like we might have lost Caroline. Oh, great.
I apologize. Yes, I sort of faded away there, so I am very sorry, Taylor.
No worries.
It's a very timely story, I would say, now with all that has happened with the Black Lives Matter movement. How has it been received?
It's been received really well. We've played at 70 festivals and won 25 awards. It's Oscar qualified, and so the film is doing well. But more importantly, it's really connected people to Winfred's work and to Shirley's work. These two artists who are both using art to address racial trauma and equality, and seeing Shirley get to go on and kind of do her performance art theaters in new spaces, and Winfred has art shows and is getting the opportunity to teach in schools kind of as a result of the film connecting them to more people. So I'd say that's the best success of all.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so grateful that you shared their stories with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Izzy, tell us a little bit about face-to-face time.
Well, that's not fair. I can't.
I know. I should have moved you around. About that.
Yeah. So mine is significantly less important in theme. I guess the thing that's funny about it is that I wrote it 5 years ago, actually, and it's about, you guys have seen it, but yeah, it's pretty COVID appropriate. It's about getting sexy on the internet. And it hit right as a lockdown happened. It was in South by, and then went on to Amazon because South by Southwest got canceled, obviously. Yeah. And so it just immediately became even more relatable, which was a very odd outcome because I genuinely wrote it years ago when none of this was happening.
Can I ask, was it based on a personal experience, or should I not ask that?
No, I think tonally, like that energy I've experienced many a time, the desperate, the agony of trying to feel close to somebody and like just going horribly wrong.
Yeah.
I felt that my audience deserved to sort of share that with me. But no, I hope that I'm not that stupid.
Well, it's really about connection, though, right? I mean, isn't that what it's at the heart of it?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it is. It's like I said, it's about trying to feel close to somebody and really missing each other. And it's also about, I mean, the sort of joke throughout the film, the very short film, is about framing. It's like, how do we, right now, our lives have become in front of we're constantly in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And how do we use that to try to connect with somebody else? And like, what are we putting in the frame and what accidentally appears in the frame that you didn't intend to show? And just the sort of performance of who we want to be and versus who we actually are.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone is experiencing the performance aspect as far as Zoom goes a lot these days. Perhaps not the more intimate aspects of it, but it's a really fun little film. So thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And Tahmina, let's move to you and tell us a little bit about your movie, A Woman, and where it was shot and how it came about.
So it was shot in Azerbaijan, which is where I'm from. It came about just as an idea. I think I wrote it. Actually, this is probably the shortest turnaround I've ever had for writing something and making it. I think I wrote it in a month, really, and it got made the next month. But it was it was August. It was an off season for shooting, and I just had this like creative energy in me. And I said, I've always wanted to direct. This is my first directorial work. I'm a writer. I'm an actor. So this is something that directing is something I knew I've always wanted to do, but it wasn't something that I was, I guess, courageous enough to do for some time. And I don't really regret it because I think everything kind of comes with time.
Yeah.
And I just kind of had this creative energy in me, and I've had this idea for a short for a while, but really I wrote it, and then I said, I'm just going to do it. So I started going to people that were, that I could work with, really. And then we shot it in 2 days.
Wow.
I would say in about like a month, we shot it in 2 days. And honestly, for me, it started off just as an experiment to see myself as a director, writer, producer, actor, all in one, which is a little bit probably too much to do all at once. But I just, I decided to go for it, and it turned out better than I expected. So that's how it came about.
Beautifully. Yeah.
Thank you.
No turning back now, right? Now you are.
Yeah, no, there's no turning back. I'm definitely down this path, and I'm going to keep going.
Absolutely. Are you working on something new now that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a feature right now to be shot in Azerbaijan. I'm really passionate about telling stories that are taking place there. I mean, I'm sure you guys probably don't know much about Azerbaijan, and that's one of the reasons why I want to set stories there and just talk about the women there, because it's a very interesting side of our just of our world. It's the Caucasus. I don't think a lot of people know what it's like. It has a really interesting history of being part of, the Soviet Union, but it's also Muslim and it's secular, and there's it's a very progressive and liberal country, but at the same time, it's still a very patriarchal society. Mm-hmm. So, it's about a woman that's going through, it's set in the time of war, which is happening right now. There's a war going on there, which is crazy. Yeah. And it's about a woman who's really fighting for the custody of her child with the backdrop of the war. So.
And do you think you'll be able to shoot there with the war ongoing?
Yeah, so the capital is fine, and we are thinking that it's going to come to an end soon. That's kind of the prediction, but the capital is fine. It's safe. It's safe, so it should be okay. Everything's kind of back and going. Honestly, I'm probably more worried about the pandemic getting worse than I am about that being a problem. But hopefully it all comes to an end in both the war and the pandemic.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Well, we wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
You have to promise to bring that back. Bring it to Three Rivers if it's a feature. Well, I don't know if it's next year, but whenever you're able to wrap it up, we'd love to see it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. This has been so great talking with everybody. I've really enjoyed hearing your stories and meeting you virtually. And we're so, so grateful that you brought all of your beautiful work to Film Pittsburgh and our audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival.